First I need to announce that the Yuba County people aren't going to be here. Tang sent me an email saying he couldn't get the night off, and Wendell forgot that he had accepted our invitation, and then he accepted another one subsequently up in the Yuba foothills and decided to go there instead. So I apologize to any Yuba County people, but Sutter County is just as important. So I'd like to ask Tammie to lead the invocation tonight.
Thank you. Good evening. So I've got big shoes to fill tonight because normally Joe Carwell does this, and he's amazing. He's our resident pastor, you could say. So, but I found a very relevant article I'd like to share this evening to lead us into prayer. This is an article, it's on the Institute for the Constitution's website by Jake McCauley. He's the president of that organization. He writes in his article, "My recent travels across America brought me to Ashe County, North Carolina. This sleepy little county tucked in the Appalachian Mountains along the Blue Ridge Parkway was the site of an Institute on the Constitution, United States Constitution course graduation. I have developed a tradition of visiting the patriots of Ashe County every year for these graduations. This year, we had the sheriff of Ashe County take part in the ceremony, and you can imagine how pleased I was to hear of a godly sheriff who realized it was his duty to protect the good citizens who had voted to give him his job as a public servant. As I discussed the concepts of interposition and our sheriff's course with Sheriff Terry Buchanan, I grew more and more encouraged that the work of the Institute on the Constitution members was paying off and taking root in this county. Numerous graduates of past courses included pastors, state representatives, local government members, and now a sheriff. Unfortunately, many of the godly in seats of power across the nation face daily criticism and resistance to their work as God's ministers to the people for their good. This sheriff was not exempt from that. You see, a petition has been created to stop the tyrant sheriff of Ashe County. The petition claims Ashe County, North Carolina, is in great danger of a tyrant sheriff which has no regard for separation between church and state. Ashe County Sheriff's Office, with directions from Sheriff Terry Buchanan, based in Jefferson, North Carolina, coordinated a time of prayer event on Saturday, June 24th, 2017. Highlighting the event was a prayer led by Anne Graham Lotz, the daughter of the celebrity evangelist Billy Graham and sister of Franklin Graham. The event took place in front of the Ashe County Sheriff's Office. Applying this government title to promote his personal religious beliefs and the beliefs of Mrs. Lotz gave the damaging impression that the county supports and endorses those precise religious beliefs. The Establishment Clause prohibits the government from promoting or affiliating itself with any religious doctrine or organization. Let's pause this petition to correct an unconstitutional notion. The First Amendment actually prevents Congress from making laws enforcing religion. The sheriff is not Congress, and a prayer is not a law. So I'll interrupt this invocation for a teaching lesson. So they're referring to Article 1 in the Constitution where it talks about, First Amendment, not Article 1, the First Amendment, where it says, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, nor prohibiting the free exercise. So the key word in there is Congress. Congress shall make no law. The sheriff can't violate that. He's not Congress. So there's my little lesson. So the petition concludes, we ask for your help in removing Sheriff Terry Buchanan from office to stop Christian Sharia in Ashe County. That makes no sense whatsoever. Cleansing all that do not follow. Attempting to remove a sheriff for petitioning Almighty God to help him fulfill his oath is not constitutional, smart, or safe. After all, this sheriff along with every other sheriff in America, is required to protect the God-given rights of his constituents. What better way to do so than by following the tradition of our founders and thousands of public servants, such as Congress and state legislatures, who regularly ask God to help them fulfill their oath made to God to protect those sacred rights that he gives to mankind. After all, in the words of Thomas Jefferson, can the liberties of a nation be thought secure when we have removed their only firm basis, a conviction in the minds of the people that these liberties are the gifts of God, that they are not to be violated but with his wrath? So now let's go ahead and pray. Dear Lord, we ask for your presence tonight. We ask that you bless us with discernment as we hear the candidates tonight, and we just ask that you bless them with all the right words that they can say to express how they are best suited for this job, and to just put peace on their hearts and let them all just relax, enjoy the forum, and get to know the citizens, and just put on our hearts what it is you want us to know. Lead us tonight, Lord. Lead us to ask the right questions, and lead the sheriff candidates to give the right answers, Lord. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Tammie. Can I have you turn your cell phones down to vibrate or stun, tickle? And I'd like to ask the vets to stand. Veterans, if it were not for our veterans, we would not be here. If you remain standing, and everybody else, I'm going to have Larry Mertz lead the pledge.
Please stand. Salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, folks. Any elected officials? Gary Bradford, Yuba County Supervisor. Thank you, Gary. There's plenty running. Look, I haven't seen some of you people in a long time. Some of you are new faces. God bless each and every one of you. I'd ask you to stand and tell us about yourself, but there's a lot of people here tonight, so let's get on. I appreciate you coming, and hope to see you back. We're going to have Yuba County Board of Supervisors next meeting, and then Sutter County Board of Supervisors after that, and then we're going to get into the department heads. Probably both counties, or we'll see. As always, I'm going to ask the guys to pass a hat. We fund ourselves by your gracious gifts, and we just paid out $830 for insurance. It hurt, and we bought some new mics just for this special occasion. And so I'd ask the guys to pass the plates, and we'll gather that up. There is snacks and coffee over here on the right, and candidates have their literature out here on the sides if you'd like to see it. We meet every morning. A group of us meet at Dancing Tomato at 9 o'clock on Saturday mornings. Sometimes there's 6 of us, and sometimes there's 26 of us. It's hard to say, whoever's in town, I guess. Sutter County Board of Supervisors, and there's not going to be any meeting till next the Tuesday, March the 27th. They meet at 3 o'clock. I don't have any agenda yet because they only release them, 4 days before they meet. Yuba County Board of Supervisors did not vote on the resolution to be an anti-sanctuary state. Instead, they turned it over to council. And I know they're in a bind over there because they have an ICE jail, a jail for ICE that helps fund the county. But hopefully we can get the council to make a decision and get it out for a vote. Yuba City Council is going to meet tomorrow at 6 p.m. and they're going to authorize the purchase of a new bus, and it's $150,000 for a bus. But the bus takes the kiddies and the seniors around to special events and local venues and out to Sacramento and to the parks and certain events that hopefully is funded by grants. That is your money, of course. They're going to revamp, City of Yuba City is going to revamp their finance department because there's so many people. Mike, there's so many people retiring there. But I don't think it's going to cost them a lot. They're adding another level 2 accountant, and they're moving one of their tech accountants up to level 1. So there's not a lot going on in Yuba City. In Marysville, they're going to have a second reading of their pre-treatment standards because the standards they have now for industrial waste, they can just dump into the city water treatment plant, and it's becoming a burden on their plant. They're also presenting a plaque to Sanchez Powder Coating, Ace Composites, and Chuck Watson Machine Shop, and recognizing their generosity and craftsmanship that resulted in the restoration of the city of Marysville French 75mm 100-year-old cannon in Veterans Park. So that's cannon restored. You want to blow it off on 4th of July? Should be safe and sound. They're also defining and amending the requirements for the sale of pot. 37 pages long. I got tired of reading it, I really did. There's, you can't have a drive-through. I don't know. There's just onerous bunch of stuff in there, which it should be, I guess. But it's coming. I don't know what you can do about it. Just keep it out of your local communities is the best you can hope for, I guess. Like us on Facebook and share us if you see fit, and tweet us at SBTPP on Twitter. On April 2nd, like I said, we're going to have the Yuba County Board of Supervisors Town Hall. March 25th, Tammie, at the end of the road down here, the entrance, there's a building, it's called Building 500. It's upstairs on the north side, rooms 212, 210. It's an all-day affair. It's a sheriff and a citizen course for constitutional sheriffs. We'd like to see all you guys there. It's a fantastic course. It's taught on the basis of the American View. It's the Institute on the Constitution. What they do is they take the American view from the founders' perspective at that time and what the words meant and how they were imbued with them. So Sheriff Mack, who is going to Skype in here later, Sheriff Richard Mack, who, if you don't know who Sheriff Richard Mack is, he went up against some of the tenets of the Brady Bill, handgun law, and as unconstitutional, took it Supreme Court and won. So he got the unconstitutional parts, at the very minimum, out of the Brady Bill, and then he won that, and he'll be Skyping in here for a few minutes later before we get going. And he will be here in person. He teaches Monday through Thursday, and he lives in Arizona, but he will be up in Nevada City this coming weekend, Friday and Saturday, and Sunday he will be here with Tammie, and he will teach the first half of that course. And like I say, it's an all-day affair. It's a $20 registration fee. That gets you 3 books from Sheriff Mack. And he's a blessing to listen to. And on the 26th, the day after, we have at the same building, Building 500, to have the State of Jefferson Formation Committee. It meets at 6 o'clock, and Kay, Jen there, is going to host it. Raise your hand, Kay. There you go. Yes, you are. I don't think Becky's going to be in town, so she hasn't told you yet, I guess. Yes, you are. If you're not, I guess I will. So, look, we like Live with Lou. Listen to Lou Benninger. He may not be right all the time, but he stirs a pot, and when he stirs a pot, the rats run out, and when the rats run out, you can shine a light on them, and I like to see that. And if you can't listen to him on KNYC 1410 on YouTube, search for One Eye Blind Media. That's Chris Starkey, and he posts his radio show up there. We're not having a 50-50 tonight, but we are going to raffle out that mirror. It's a handmade mirror. It was donated to us by Randy Morgan, and he's got the towel racks to go along with it. We don't have the towel racks here tonight, but he will supply them to the lucky winner. And second place, tickets are $5 each, 5 for $20. And second place is give you a free T-shirt. Liberty Holsters is here tonight. They have an abundance of holsters to fit all types of handguns. And they've got they got a go bag back there and a bunch of health kits. They're young entrepreneurs, and they get the job done, and they make quality equipment. Tammie has a short announcement about the Sutter Yuba Constitutional Republicans. I know probably most of you here are Republicans. There may be some independents or Democrats. We welcome them all, but we're going to ask her to say a little bit about the Constitutional Republicans.
I forgot I was going to do that. So we have actually, there's a lot of people here from that organization. We started it up, I think, about a year ago, and it kind of went by the wayside, and we haven't been active. We are reinvigorating that with a purpose, and we're reinvigorating it in time for the campaign season. We fully intend to endorse one of these candidates tonight, so their answers to the questions that you posed to them is going to weigh into that. We sent them a sheriff's survey. We've received one of those surveys back from Mr. Pierce, so we really appreciate that, and hopefully we can follow up with the other 2 candidates and get those back in, because we're going to take that into consideration. Another thing we are going to take into consideration, and I was going to wait to the end to do this, maybe I'll just do it right now. So the Sutter Yuba Constitutional Republicans decided it's very important to us that we make sure that our sheriffs understand the oath that they're going to be taking to the Constitution and understand what's in the Constitution and how it relates to their position. The sheriff is actually, it's in the state constitution that gives the sheriff his authority. And that's where he derives that authority from, is the state constitution. But he takes an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, both the state and the U.S. Constitution. So we want to make sure that they take that oath seriously. I think it's lost a lot of its ceremony in recent years. They just go stand in front of a city clerk, and it's real brief, and there's no ceremony to it. And I think that the words that come out of their mouths maybe aren't even thought of by, not all, I'm not going to say a blanket statement, but many. I don't think that really sinks in the significance of that. So in order to promote that, this was spurred by the Sutter Butte's Tea Party Patriots, decided to have the sheriff constitutional training class, and that's happening this Sunday. Well, the Sutter Yuba Constitutional Republicans decided we wanted to sponsor each sheriff candidate to attend that training if they're willing to. So I actually have brought with me tonight, I have a scholarship that I'm going to give to each one of the candidates and let them know how much we would really appreciate them attending this training, so that we know that they're prepared to take that oath to that Constitution. And I'll read you what it says on this. It's called the Liberty Scholarship. This is going to be the first of many because our group intends to be very active in campaigns. We intend to get behind the candidate that we'd endorse. We have young people getting on board with our group that are really anxious to start helping out with sign installation. So I think you all would be happy about that. So just keep in mind that there's perks that come with the endorsement from the Sutter Yuba Constitutional Republicans. This is the Liberty Scholarship, and it says the Sutter Yuba Constitutional Republicans values the integrity of our founding documents and the original intent of our founding fathers in creating our constitutional republic. We strive to elect representatives who will pledge their oath of office in full understanding of the Constitution, established in accordance with the American view of law and government, and based on the laws of nature and nature's God. Therefore, in full gratitude of your strength and courage in answering the call to serve as an elected representative of the people, we respectfully present this scholarship to attend the Sheriff and the Citizen, March 25th, 2018, so that's this Sunday. And I have the Yuba County Sheriff's certificates, but unfortunately they're not here to receive them, but that doesn't mean they don't get them. So, Mr. Hauck, there's one for you. Mr. Pierce, and Mr. Barnes. Thank you very much, and we do hope that you'll take advantage of that scholarship and attend the training on Sunday. I understand you guys are super busy. It's campaign season. You don't really want to give up one of your weekends to go hit the turf, but guess what? We're going to give you a little exchange for the time that you spend with us. The one of you that gets our endorsement, we're going to hit the pavement for you. And we're going to go door to door. We're going to talk to people. We're going to hand out your flyers. We will put our full support behind you, and you know, you'll get some perks, like I said. Okay, Bill, am I ready to give it back to you? Oh, to sign up, there's sign up sheets in the back. There's a flyer that tells a little more about the training. There is a $20 registration fee. For that $20, you get in exchange books that are authored by Sheriff Richard Mack, 3 of them. There's an option to attend for free. If you don't want the books and you don't want me to feed you lunch, you can just simply show up and listen. So those are your options.
Thank you, Tammie. And that was for the sheriff and citizen and sheriff this coming Sunday down in Building 500. There's also sign-up sheets back there for the Sutter Yuba Constitutional Republicans and a little spiel on what they promote and what they're about. They are, in all honesty, I am a regional director here in the Yuba Sutter area. The director himself resigned. Some conflict of some sort with me. But he resigned, and we're getting it up and going again. There are sign-up sheets back there if you'd like to become one. We have a website at SutterYubaCR.com, and you can go there and sign up, get on a mailing list, and we'd be happy to have you if you want Republicans to follow the Constitution. We're the group. Okay, I'm not going to speak much more, Tammie. You're gonna Skype in Sheriff Mack here.
I'll get ready to do that. Do you want to lay down the laws?
Oh, okay, yeah. There will be questions after we're going to let each candidate introduce themselves, and after Sheriff Mack and they introduce themselves and tell a little bit about themselves, we're going to have questions, and questions are going to be one question per time. You have to get up to the microphone. Don't shout it out because nobody can hear, and it doesn't. Besides, it won't get recorded on the video. One question, we'd appreciate short answers. I'm sure you guys would too. And don't sit and make statements. We don't, you're not running, they are. So don't sit and make statements, ask questions, make them short and concise, and they'll try and respond in kind. If you want to follow up, go to the back of the line, get in line, and do it again. Okay, Tammie is going to Skype in Sheriff Mack, and
1994, Marysville PD. Marysville PD, we did our own detective work. I was one of the first community-oriented policing officers in Marysville. I served as a sergeant at both Marysville and Yuba City Police Departments. When Marysville Police Department was without a chief, I stepped up and handled administrative work. I managed my division's share of a $7.5 million budget. I know budgets. I successfully secured and managed law enforcement grants exceeding over $1 million in all of my time at Marysville. I'm convinced that I'm the most experienced candidate on the panel, having worked in a jail, having worked in traffic and patrol divisions, and having managed a successful cadet program, which is putting well-trained officers on our streets. But the number one thing I know how to do best is how to lead people. At Yuba City Police Department, I have officers that are competing to work for me because of the type of environment that I create for the men and women under my supervision. It's no secret that there are morale issues at the Sheriff's Department, and we don't need to spend taxpayer dollars on an audit to determine what they are. I'm a lifelong Yuba Sutter resident. I've made it my mission in both my personal and professional life to build relationships within my community. I've never just sat behind a desk and called the shots. I'm out in the community doing the work, building alliances, and building trust. I've led my career with integrity in the line of duty. I am known for my firm but fair approach to law enforcement. I would never ask the men and women who work for me to do anything that I wasn't willing to do myself, which is why you will see me working alongside the men and women I lead. This is the type of leadership that we need in the Sheriff's Department. Some of the changes that I plan to make as your sheriff is to immediately evaluate those individuals who are causing problems and their superiors who fail to address problematic behaviors. These actions will no longer be tolerated. As Sutter County taxpayers, take a moment and ask yourselves, how much are you willing to pay in lawsuit settlements? I will lead from out front. When I'm out meeting with my constituents, some of them don't even know the name of our current sheriff. That will change once I'm elected because I will be someone that you're going to see at the football games or at the farm or at the Yuba Sutter Fair purchasing animals. Not just during election time. I will be accessible. I'm going to establish a first-of-its-kind citizen advisory panel in Sutter County. I know the citizens in Rioso and Robbins and even Meridian feel like their voices aren't heard, so I plan to create an advisory panel to address crime in rural parts of the county before they become major problems. I've created a program called Rural Shield to help residents in rural parts of the county fight crime. I'm going to be revealing that program next month. I plan to reform Sutter County's concealed carry program. As a member of the NRA, I strongly believe that armed citizens who are free from mental defect and have approved storage facilities in their homes make society safer. The only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. As a member of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association, I feel that we can run the Sheriff's Department more efficiently. There is very little collaboration between Yuba City Police Detective Unit and the Sutter County Detective Division. Criminals don't stop when they hit the city limit signs. I look forward to working with Chief Landon to join efforts to run a more effective Joint Investigations Task Force. After all, Yuba City PD and Sutter County Sheriff's Department are only 2 blocks apart. I want to save taxpayers money while improving public safety for the citizens, but I want people to feel safe. I want the people of Sutter County to feel that you can trust that we are always going to do the right things for the right reasons. I'm a 3-time recipient of the Officer of the Year Award. I hold the Medal of Valor from Marysville PD. I am a well-rounded candidate, and I feel that I can lead Sutter County Sheriff's Department with honesty and integrity. As Sutter County Sheriff, I will proudly wear a uniform to work every day, something we haven't seen from the sheriff in our county in many years.
I will be a sheriff that Sutter County residents can be proud of. I'm endorsed by your friends and family, the Yuba City Sergeants Group, Supervisor Dan Flores, Yuba City Mayor Preet Didball, Yuba City Mayor, Vice Mayor, and CHP Commander retired Sean Harris, Live Oak City Council Member and former Mayor Steve Alvarado, Marysville Chief of Police Christian Sachs, Wheatland Chief of Police Alan Whiteman, Yuba City Chief of Police retired Richard Dosher, former Yuba City Mayor and City Council Member Roy Ramirez, former Yuba City Mayor and City Council Member Karen Carticelli and Cash Gill, the Professional Labor Unions Local 228 and Operating Engineers Local 3, and countless others. As your sheriff, I will not pick and choose which laws to enforce and which to ignore. I will represent the entire public equally and fairly, not pay favoritism to any special interest group. This is a quote that I'm going to read. We were actually strategizing to put all of the women up at the front. If they're going to start shooting, it's going to be the women that are going to be televised all across the world getting shot by these rogue federal agents. Mr. Mack made that statement to the press at the Bundy Ranch standoff when federal snipers were put into position. I am morally and fundamentally opposed and disagree with women being used as human shields, and therefore, I respectfully excuse myself from further participation in this forum. Thank you.
Sheriff Mack, would you like to respond to that?
Well, we all know that the